On the 9th of March, Iran claimed to have carried out a dedicated strike against the U.S. military base known as Camp Beering in Kuwait. According to the announcement, 11 high-value targets were destroyed in a single operation. This includes fuel tanks, the American helicopter ramp, the command building, logistics centers, and core base infrastructure. A massive fire erupted, black smoke visible for miles. Eyewitnesses and intelligence sources reported a panicked evacuation from the base in the aftermath. The operation combined cruise missiles and drones in a coordinated strike, and the IRGC confirmed it deployed the Khorramshahr-4 alongside them, Iran's super-heavy ballistic missile carrying a 500 kilograms warhead at speeds exceeding Mach 14, and the timing was not random. These strikes were launched within hours of the announcement that Mojtaba Khamenei had been appointed as Iran's new supreme leader, replacing the father that the United States and Israel killed on February 28th. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to break down Iran's attack on this base, and you will see why Iran says its newest weapons have barely been used. Before we continue, thanks a lot for tuning in. Your support is what keeps this show going, and I appreciate you watching. Please make sure to subscribe and like the video so I can keep bringing you these critical updates. Now, here is what we know. Camp Beering is a U.S. military logistics base in northwestern Kuwait. It has been running since 2003. It supports helicopter operations, fuel storage, equipment maintenance, and supply lines for American forces across the Gulf. For over 20 years, no country had ever launched a direct military strike against a base like this inside Kuwait. That changed on March 1st when an Iranian drone hit Camp Beering for the first time. Then the IRGC came back on March 9th with a full combined arms assault. The operation specifically targeted the helicopter assembly and repair centers, the aircraft fuel storage, and the base command structure. The drones went in first, the cruise missiles followed, the ballistic missile units struck the helicopter maintenance facilities, the fuel depots, and the command building with precision, resulting in what the IRGC described as significant destruction. The fire that broke out was still burning when the smoke became visible from outside the base perimeter. Reports from eyewitnesses described American personnel rushing to evacuate. This was not a random barrage. It was a sequenced operation. Drones to soften defenses, cruise missiles to hit fixed targets, ballistic assets to destroy hardened infrastructure. The IRGC described it as one of its most important single-base operations of the entire war, and Camp Beering sits in one of the most remote stretches of the Kuwaiti desert. This base was never built to survive what just hit it. So what exactly is the missile that made this possible? And why should anyone outside the Pentagon care about its specifications? Because the Khorramshahr-4 is not just another weapon in Iran's rotation. It is the single heaviest payload Iran can put on a target. Iran unveiled the Khorramshahr-4, also called Khorramshahr, in May 2023. Iranian state media has described it as a liquid fuel missile with a range of about 1,300 miles and a warhead weighing over 3,000 pounds. This is a medium-range ballistic missile, single-stage, liquid-fueled, almost 1,300-mile range that covers every American installation from Bahrain to Qatar to the UAE, the entirety of Israel and portions of southeastern Europe, including NATO infrastructure. But the range is not the defining feature. The warhead is 1,500 kilograms of payload capacity. The IRGC has publicly described it as a 2-ton warhead. That is the heaviest conventional warhead in Iran's entire arsenal. Nothing else they field approaches it. Under the surface, this missile runs on a newly designed RV-4 liquid rocket engine. It carries a separable, maneuverable re-entry vehicle built specifically to adjust its trajectory during terminal descent. That means it can change course on the way down to dodge interceptors like Patriot PAC-3 and THAAD. The guidance system combines inertial navigation with satellite corrections, which tightens the accuracy enough to hit specific point targets, a fuel depot, a command building, a runway junction, not just a general area. Iranian officials claim they have also cut the fueling preparation time compared to earlier liquid fuel designs. That matters enormously. Liquid-fueled missiles sit exposed on the launch pad during fueling. That is their traditional vulnerability window for preemptive strikes. Faster fueling means a smaller window. The entire Khorramshahr family traces its engineering lineage to the North Korean Hwasong-10, also called the Musudan. But the Iranians have rebuilt it from the frame up, reinforced structures, different tank configurations, upgraded guidance electronics. What started as a North Korean blueprint is now a purpose-built Iranian weapon with capabilities the original never had. On March 6th, French television correspondent Siavash Ghazi confirmed from inside Iran that the Khorramshahr-4 struck U.S. installations in Qatar and Bahrain during the 22nd wave of Operation True Promise 4, codenamed Ya Hussein bin Ali. In Bahrain, the missile reportedly hit the fuel terminal of the main base supporting the U.S. Fifth Fleet. A massive fire erupted in Manama. In Tel Aviv, a separate Khorramshahr-4 reportedly caused severe damage to the Israeli Defense Ministry complex. A third struck a U.S. base in the Emirates. All three appear to have reached their designated targets. IRGC spokesperson Brigadier General Na declared that Iran was prepared for a protracted conflict. He said their new weapons had not yet been deployed on a large scale. After 31 waves, after more than 500 ballistic missiles, after nearly 2,000 drones, the IRGC is still calling this the opening phase. Most people think Iran is burning through its stockpile and running out of options. In reality, a senior IRGC official told Fars News that the missiles used so far were predominantly from 2012 through 2014 production years. Iran has been deliberately holding back its modern arsenal. That is not desperation. That is rationing for a war they expect to last weeks, not days. Stay with me, because the succession that just happened in Iran is directly connected to every warhead now in the air. On March 8th, just after midnight Iran time, the Assembly of Experts, Iran's 88-member clerical body, announced Mojtaba Hosseini Khamenei as the third supreme leader. He is 56. He is the second son of the man that U.S. and Israel killed 10 days earlier. And the process that put him there was not clean. Wartime conditions disrupted the normal succession process. Reorts reported that the Assembly of Experts debated remote or written alternatives because an in-person plenary was difficult under bombardment. Iranian media said an auxiliary assembly building in Qom had been hit. Mojtaba Khamenei was then chosen as supreme leader. The objections against him were real. He holds the rank of Hojjatul Islam, a mid-level cleric, not an ayatollah. His father was not an ayatollah either when he took power in 1989 and the law was changed to allow it. Appointing the son creates a hereditary dynasty inside a republic built on overthrowing the Pahlavi monarchy in 1979. The entire ideological foundation of the Islamic Revolution was rejection of dynastic rule. His father reportedly opposed the idea. WikiLeaks cables from the late 2000s referred to Mojtaba as the power behind the robes. The U.S. Treasury sanctioned him in 2019 during Trump's first term for representing the supreme leader in an official capacity, despite never being elected or appointed to any government position. He is believed responsible for engineering Mahmoud Ahmadinejad's rise in 2005 and his disputed re-election in 2009, which triggered mass protests across Iran. During those protests, crowds chanted directly at him, "Death to Mojtaba, so you would never be the next leader." Most Iranians have never heard his voice. He has never given a public lecture, a sermon, or a political address. His wife, Zahra Khademolhosseini, the daughter of a former parliament speaker, was killed alongside one of their children in the February 28th strike that killed his father. But this is where the succession becomes a weapon. Iranian state media published an image of a ballistic missile with handwriting on the casing. The words read, "Labayik Mojtaba, at your service, Sayyid Mojtaba." Labayik is not a slogan. It is a consecrated Shia oath of allegiance. The IRGC turned a warhead into a ritual pledge of loyalty to the new commander-in-chief. The 30th wave launched alongside the succession announcement under the codename Ali Wali Allah, a direct reference to the divine appointment of Ali as Muhammad's successor at Ghadir. The 31st wave was codenamed Labayik Ya Khamenei, the first offensive operation under Mojtaba's direct command. The missiles and the succession were synchronized. That was choreography. Israel responded immediately. Defense Minister Israel Katz had already stated on March 4th that whoever succeeded Ali Khamenei would be treated as a legitimate assassination target. Israel's foreign ministry posted a photo of Mojtaba and his father holding firearms captioned, "Like father, like son." Trump told ABC News that Mojtaba would need approval from the United States or he would not last long. He called him a lightweight. Senator Lindsey Graham said it was only a matter of time before the son met the same fate as the father. Iran responded in layers. Foreign Minister Araghchi stated nobody would be permitted to interfere. Parliament Speaker Kalabath posted that the fate of Iran would be decided by the Iranian nation, not by, and this is a direct quote, Epstein's gang. Then China drew its line. Foreign Ministry spokesman Guo Jiakun declared on March 9th that Iran's leadership decision was constitutional and internal. China opposed any interference in or targeting of the new leader. Wang Yi told Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov that assassinating a head of state during active negotiations was unacceptable under any framework. Putin pledged unwavering support to Mojtaba Khamenei. This has become a sharp diplomatic divide. China and Russia have criticized the attacks and called for de-escalation, but neither has clearly committed to Iran as an active wartime partner. The United States and Israel have openly threatened Iran's new leadership, while Beijing and Moscow have stressed sovereignty and restraint. And there is a second front. On March 2nd, Hezbollah resumed attacks on Israel, drawing Lebanon directly into the war after months of relative restraint. Reuters reported that Hezbollah said the attacks were retaliation for the killing of Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei. Israel responded with heavy airstrikes across Beirut's southern suburbs, southern Lebanon, and the Bekaa Valley. Israel said one of its strikes killed Hussein Maklal, identified by the Israeli military as the head of Hezbollah's intelligence headquarters. Lebanese authorities say the death toll has climbed sharply, and Reuters reported that nearly 700,000 people have been displaced in Lebanon since the fighting resumed. Reuters also reported that 2 Israeli soldiers were killed in southern Lebanon as the fighting expanded. Human Rights Watch has separately reported evidence of white phosphorus use over residential areas in the southern town of Yerin. This is no longer a contained border exchange. Lebanon has been pulled deeper into the war, and the cost is rising on both sides. Even as the war spreads into Lebanon, Iran is signaling that it has not yet committed its best weapons at full scale. The IRGC has told its own public that the weapons used so far are mostly from 2012 through 2014 production. 31 waves deep into this war, and Iran is calling it the opening phase. Neither Washington nor Tehran has publicly stated what conditions would end this. No ceasefire framework, no back-channel confirmation, no off-ramp. The only thing both sides have made clear is that they are not done. And every day that question goes unanswered, the next wave gets closer. Thanks a lot for watching. I really appreciate your support. Join the discussion in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts. Who do you think is winning the war? Do you think the war is getting out of hand? Let me know. Please subscribe and like the video if you want to stay updated. And click the videos on the screen to see another. I'll see you soon.